Hello everyone and welcome to Agency Season 9. This season we are doing a chronological team of 5, Potential Moles, Radar, and Anonymous. Potential Moles is similar to Moles, except there is now a 60% chance that you will have a mole on your team versus the usual 100%. Radar is a game mode where you can craft a clock, and if you right-click, you will be able to see anyone within I believe it's a 150 by 150 radius of yourself and their health. And Anonymous is just everyone's disguised as Daredevil Dawson. Shout out to Daredevil Dawson.
Dawson's an agency.
Dawson is very much an agency. So this season we have a very large game of 50 whole players. Well, 51 counting our beautiful spec. So we're going to go over each team. We have Team 1 of Brick Tycoon, Pi, Micrus, Trazan, No 2 Crime, aka Perpnan, and Walshy, all from Season 1. On Team 2, we have Jock, Grant, Kevin Peary, Sil, and Sir. Team 3, we have Kingsy, myself, the Kev guy, aka Kevin MB, Flubel, and Papfin53, aka Steve Sherman. Team 4, we have Darren, Americ, G-Sam, Vernon, and Tux. Team 5, we have Casmic, Lego Beast, Frigid, Hollywhirl, aka Zfic, and the Max Fella, aka Max50. On team... Wait, is that 6? I don't know. The next team is Daphs, Vader, Ixo, Lightning, and...
Nintendoshi.
The next team is Twinkie, Cold, Merc, Theb, and Talon. And now we get to the fun ones, fellas. Now we get to the next team of Count Frick MC, Lenboy, Mr. Cute, newcomer Sarah Stone 98, and Speedoshire. Next thing we have newcomer Special Agent Sindo, Lucidity, newcomer Pushy Half, newcomer Thwip, and newcomer Yellowbit. And lastly, we have all newcomers Miles 1 Baseball, Flame Orb, and in subs Bacon, Space Pod, and Buttergolem 1. And now Pi will go over some kind of config or something.
Some kind of config. Alright. The world size is 2500 by 2500. PvP is enabled episode 2, Meetup and Permaday episode 6. Absorption is off, heads are on, healing 4, shearing is off, apple rates are 1%, flint rates are 40%, nether is off, fire weapons are off, double arrows is on, and I think that's about it.
And a beautiful thank you to our beautiful spec O-Dog.
O-Dog!
Everyone please give a shout out. Can we get some O-Dogs in the chat?
O-Dog!
Alright, now I can't really unmute chat because Discord's kind of stupid, but welcome to Agency Season 9, let's get fighting.
Woo!
Let's go O-Dog! Let's go O-Dog!
Go O-Dog! Alright, now if you guys want... Alright, so earlier I posted...
Nigger! I'm sorry.
Fuck off! Earlier I...
Yeah, my game just did not record that at all.
Yeah, my OBS isn't even working, but I'm working on it fix it, alright.
Thanks,
Well, I'm watching a tutorial.
Don't
No, I
kill
just
people.
need to... I'm getting like an error.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Spectator Perspective for Agency UHC Season 9. We're back at it again. So first of all I just want to say thank you to for like the reception on my one for Season 6. I know it's been a couple of seasons now. I left the round and now I'm back, so you know I'm looking forward to being here doing another one, and as I say that, Frigid goes and takes the first damage of our game. So I'm not going to be keeping too much of a close eye on the actual players at the start of this game, because I'm going to be busy going through the game modes and stuff like that, sort of introducing the teams individually. But you know, I think everyone's going to be doing the same stuff at the early points of this game, just getting, you know, the basic supplies. So I'm not too worried about following anyone too closely. But if anyone does anything you know, pretty outrageous at the start of the game, we'll keep an eye on that. But so this season is a team of 5, as you can see on tab, with an awful lot of players. We have 50 players here, so I'm gonna be trying my absolute hardest to keep an eye on everyone, give teams equal airtime. But yeah, it's quite a lot on my plate. So, but it's a cool roster with some cool teams. And these teams were devised using the chronological teams method of selection, which means players were put on teams based on when they joined the round. So the first few teams on tab are sort of your Season 1, Season 2 players, and then you've got teams like the blue team and the cyan team, which are made completely of newcomers. So yeah, there's quite a lot of new players to accompany the existing roster, and that's always good. We like new faces. The other game modes to go with this season is well, as you can see based on the faces on tab, this is an anonymous game. Everyone is disguised as Daredevil Dawson, which, you know, it's a great choice. We all love a bit of Dawson in our life, in small doses perhaps. Okay, we got Zivik right here. So I'll go through the teams and the players and sort of do a quick check up on them all in a minute here. But sort of the main game mode for this season is moles, but not only moles, it is going to be potential moles, which means not every team, well, every team could have a mole, you just don't know. I believe it's a 60% chance that your team will get a mole, so which just adds an extra dynamic to the game. Teams don't know there's a mole. You know, if your team's down to 2 players, you don't know that the other player's a mole if no one else has come out as being so yet. It could just be a case of your team never got a mole, so it'll be interesting to see how the actual dynamic of teammates changes as a result of not only moles, but the fact that, you know, there's no actual guarantee that your team has a mole to begin with, and that means that you know, there's going to be an element of mistrust throughout the whole season, as no matter how many teammates you've got left, there's always still the chance that your team does or doesn't have a mole. So yeah, really looking forward to that one. And the last little part of the game mode is going to be Radar, which is quite a simple game mode that's going to be good for encouraging PvP. That is going to mean that if there is a player within, I believe, a 50 block radius of you, you have a clock, and that is going to tell you who that player is, as well as the health they are on. So despite it being anonymous, if you're likely to know who it is, but in a big team fight, you know, you're not going to know, or maybe it doesn't tell you who they are. It definitely tells you the health of the player, but I'm not sure if the anonymous has given any sort of changes to that game mode to make it so that you don't actually tell who the player is. That would be my guess. So yeah, as Chasmic just said in the chat there, you can see the name tags of your own teammates, which is quite useful, I suppose. So you actually know who each other are when you're with your team. But I feel like it's a bit of a shame, really. I think the dynamic of the moles would have been slightly more interesting if you know, you could hit another player on your team without actually knowing who it was, and you could do stuff and it be, you know, slightly more under wraps. I think that could have been a cool little dynamic to add to it. But Sir becomes, oh, not the second player. Okay, never mind. There's been quite a few players to already take damage. I've not been focusing on chat too much because I've been too busy talking. As I say, we'll go over that shortly, and we'll start looking into all the teams. And that is actually going to be the next thing I do. So if I TP on over to this team, we have the first team, I believe, of all Season 1 players of Brick TY or Brick Tycoon. We have I Like Pie, we have Micros MC, who has played every single season. We have Troyzen Do No Crime, who I'm going to have to check up on because I have no idea who that is. And the last player on that team is Walshy. I'll just find out who that is for you quickly before moving on. Okay, is that Bobby? Sast. Okay, you're going to have to leave that one with me because I still have absolutely no clue who that is. But moving on to the second team, we're going to skip the second team on the tab list because that is technically Team 10, so it appears second. And in terms of the actual chronological teams, we're going to move over to the pink team now. That pink team containing Chokin, who we are seeing here move towards a village, so we'll see if that has anything worthwhile in it, but it looks like it is free of a blacksmith or a library actually. That's a pretty dead village for Jock to be stumbling across. But he is joined by Grand Tonic, or Lethal Winter, I suppose. That's probably quite an outdated name for him now. They are also joined by Kevin Pirry, Silhu, and Sir Please Stop. Yeah, looks like Chock isn't too happy about the state of this village. There is absolutely nothing here for him. That's pretty shoddy. Okay, moving on now to the third team. We have Kingsley, who appears to be following Kevin. They've stuck together, which is something we haven't actually seen yet from the people I've TP'd to so far. Kingsley and Kevin are joined by Sonic, who organised this, did quite a good job getting this many people to show up one day, so props to Sonic. They are joined by Phenom Cloud and PatVin53, or Paper Vinny. Moving on now to the green team, that is going to contain Darren BGP, who is the first player we've seen moving into caves and actually has a bit of iron here to start off. Max there, taking a bit of more damage to a zombie, quite significant damage that as well, 17%, that's a heavy hit. He is joined by Americ, G-Sam, Vernon N, and Tuxpeng, still sort of in the Season 1, Season 2 bracket here. Very, very old school players on that team. But as we move on to the absolute meme team itself, we have Kazmik, who is in a forest, which is something we've seen quite a lot actually. I think this map seems to have been fairly forest and plains dominating. I know those are the most two common biomes as it is, but yeah, I've not really run into that much of a variety yet. But we'll see how that changes. Dom is joined on his team by Lego, Frigid, Poliwhirl, who is Zephic, and we have the Max fella, who is Maximum 50. Moving on next to the gold team, we have Daffs, who is doing a bit of smelting already here. Can I actually look inside this? Yep, just a small bit of iron to get him started there. Daffs is with Invader, Exelarch, Lightning Spark 7, and Nintendoshi. I'll TP to some other players on the team, but nobody's mined any gold or diamonds yet, so, you know, no one doing too much in terms of caving, although there is a bit of gold here in the cave that we just found Daffs in, so if he goes down into this ravine, I'm sure he'll find these 2 veins of gold actually. I'm sure he'll stumble across that eventually, but yeah, that is the gold team: Daffs, Evader, Exo, Lightning, and Nintendo. Moving on now to our purple team, we have Twinkie, who is in the familiar situation as Daffs of smelting up some stuff. His seems to be a lot more food orientated, although there is some a small bit of iron going in here. Looks like quite a similar cave actually to the one we just TP'd to Daffs in. It's a fairly high level ravine, but with some diamonds at the bottom actually. So we'll be interested to see if Apex Twinkie is amongst the first to run into diamonds. I'm sure if he runs in the right direction in this cave, he although that doesn't look like it connects. No, there's no connection to that ravine whatsoever. So sadly, looks like Twinkie might be slightly out of luck when it comes to running into those diamonds, but he does have a mine shaft over to the southeast, so, you know, hopefully he'll run into one of those two things eventually, because, you know, in a team of 5 situation, you're going to want one of you to find a mine shaft to make sure that you've got enough string for your whole team. Okay, we will move on to the third to last team now of the red team. Fairly new players. I believe this team has 1 newcomer on it. We have Count Mavula, who is Mav, who we see here in a cave just down on the surface. Again, very plains and forest dominated, but Mav is joined by Lemboy124, newcomer of last season if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Cute, newcomer Sarrowstone, and hello Cole Bacon. We're going to have to take a pause here, and I believe that Cole just lagged out. Oh my god. He died so hard that he has 2 heads. That's unfortunate. I'm sure Mav will get respawned. That's slightly unfortunate. Fucking, how's he ended up with 2 head posts? That's something special. Anyway, we don't really need to follow that one too much, as you know, there's more. He'll get respawned. It's fairly inconsequential that. But yeah. Anyway, I'm not sure if I got through the full team, but Mav is with Lemboy, Mr. Cute, who is Cute Shark, Newcomer Saristo 98, and Speedershire. Okay, moving on now to the second to last team, as it's getting to night time, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot more people in the caves than there were the first few people who we TP'd to. Still no one really mining all that much gold. I mean, you got Bushy, but I assume that spec info hasn't really been reset. But we have Syndic here dealing with a spider, getting a bit of string. He has, and that's to accompany 37 feathers, so that's a fairly significant arrow haul, for which is going to be useful in a team of 5 dynamic. And Syndic is joined by Lucity. Oh, I believe Syndic himself is a special guest, is what I got from the narrative in the intro. I'm not sure if that is if that's true though, or if he's just a general newcomer. Anyway, accompanying them we have 3 more newcomers in Spooky Half, who is Bushy. We have old school player Thwip, and on top of them we also have Yellowbit, who is seems to be showing up in quite a few recorder rounds at the moment. So you know, it's good to see him about a bit more. I do like Yellow. And then moving on to our final team, I believe a team all newcomers, I'm led to believe, and that is Bacon, who is behind schedule a little bit, still running around on the surface, even though we're firmly into the night time. Bacon is joined by So Guys We Did It, who is Space Pod, I believe. We also have Butter Golem 1, we have Flame Orb, and we have Miles 1 Baseball. So that is So, gold isn't spawning apparently due to some issues with the Survivor script. I'm sure that'll be all sorted out. Hopefully that doesn't prove to be too consequential. But I guess we'll just go through and do a recap of the teams very quickly. We have Brick Tycoon, Pi, Micrus, the still unknown Troy Zanduno Crime, Walshy. We have Bacon, Spacepod, Butterflame Orb, and Miles. We have Chot, Grant, Kevin, Sil, and Sir. We have Harry, Sonic, Venom, Kevin, and Vinny. We have Darren, Americ, Sam, Vernon, and Turks. We have Dom, Lego, Frigid, Zephic, and Max. Daft, Evada, Exo, Lightning, and Nintendo. We have Twinkie, Cold, Merc, Theb, and Talon. We have Mavs, Len, Cute, Sarah, and Speedo. And we have Syndic, Lucity, Bushy, Thwip, and Yellow. Those are our 50 players for the season, accompanied by myself. As we see, Daft's here mining his first gold of the game, and appears to have proved that gold is now in fact dropping. But I'm guessing Exaloc doesn't actually have 45 gold. No, I'm going to do a /spec info reset. I'd rather do that at the start of the game, because even though it's going to be a couple of out for the people who have already mined gold, I'd rather that than it be saying that people have already mined like 60 gold and stuff, when that's clearly not the case. So hopefully spec info should be a bit more of an accurate reflection now. But we have Kingsley here, all down to 60% already. He's in a cave, as you expect. Got a bit of a ravine here, and that skeleton is in a very inconsiderate position there. But I'm sure he'll be able to take it out without too much issue. Although his current health is reflecting that might not be the case. A lot going on down here actually. Got a cave here, some diamonds, but I doubt he'll ever actually run into those. But yeah, fairly mob heavy cave actually. I'm not sure what the mob rates are supposed to be like on Magic, but I'm sure this does seem like an awful lot of mobs to me compared to what you're perhaps used to seeing in a game of UHC in 2018. But nice to see players having a bit more difficulties with PvE, I apologise. And as that is going on, we have Silhu here mining what I believe is the first diamonds of the game, nope, sorry, Phenom Cloud got some earlier. I really need to start looking at chat a bit more closely rather than talking as much. But yeah, Silhu mines the second diamond of the game, both of them grabbing 5, so unless they're on the same team, which I don't believe they are. Who is it? Sil and Phenom. Right, where are Sil and Phenom on tab? You're gonna have to give me a minute here. Sill. What the fuck? Where's Sill? What is wrong with me? Okay, no, sorry, I can confirm that Sill and Venom are not on the same team, so that is now 2 teams with the significant diamonds to enchant. Sorry, we can actually make that 3 as Apex Twinkie becomes the 3rd player of the game, and also the first to turn it straight into a diamond pickaxe, which he's using to dig for this lava, which we'll see if he actually finds, because it's one of those little inconvenient underground lava balls, but there is another one over to the south here, which he'll probably have a bit more luck at digging to, and he'll be greeted by some gold. When he gets here any second now. Here he is. And is there anything else going on in this cave, or is it relatively quiet other than that? No, it seems to be a fairly sizey cave. If he can break into this absolute brute of a lava pool here, he might have some good things coming for him. There's a little bit more gold there, but that does appear to be the end of it. But, you know, this is fairly cave heavy in general around here, and yeah, mineshaft over here as well, so if he can run into that, that's some string for the purple team. But we'll see how honest they are in terms of actually owning up to having string, obviously, with it being a moles game. Kingsley at the moment still having issues with mobs, not too kitted out in terms of iron. He's only wearing a chest plate at the moment, and that seems to be costing him dearly in terms of health. But you know, there's a lot of iron around, so I'm sure he'll be fully kitted out before we know. Right, is there anything else going on in chat that we can refer to? Is Choc actually got 39 gold? Has that been going completely under the radar in my commentary? Yes, it has. Christ, Chocken is having an absolute whale of a time in the gold department. I don't know if he's having so much like with diamonds. No, he isn't, not yet, but I believe there's still only 3 or 4 players tops who have actually ran into any diamonds whatsoever, so he is very ahead of the game compared to most players. In terms of gold, 39, that's almost 5 golden apples already, and I believe we're still probably only 15 minutes into the game. Apex Twinkie, there we go with the first enchantment table of the game. We'll see how generous he is to his fellow teammates with that, but he's getting himself enchanted already here. Apparently /ep timer, 1 minute until the next episode. Okay, so we are getting fairly close towards the end of the episode. Syndic here is also mining a significant amount of gold. It's not quite the 39 that we've been seeing from Choc, but 29 in episode 1, that's still a very respectable total. I'm sure people are probably used to mining a lot more if this was a normal game where cut clean was a thing, but you know, people tend to play a lot more conservatively in recorded realm. That's kind of just the nature of the beast. But as we see that, Choc joins the diamond haul as well as the hefty amount of gold that he's already been finding. So yeah, he's already got enchants for his team if they didn't already have it. Who's Choc with? So Choc is with Grant, Kevin, Sill and Sir. I believe Sill was one of the other players, so that team is doing significantly better than others right now in terms of diamonds. But Darren as well, he's got a bit of gold going for him in what seems to be a fairly good cave, but not, you know, he's not quite at the very bottom Y levels yet. But if he runs into this lava, it will not be long before he himself is in a pretty decent looking cave actually. But I want to see if there's any PvP action to spice things up a lot at the turn of the episode. How long until the ep timer? 0 minutes. Okay, so we're getting pretty close. TX Talon right at the end of episode 1 mines his first diamond to the game, getting pretty lucky actually, digging down pretty weirdly there. Sounds like he's digging to lava of some sort, but the lava in question is actually a pool above him. So that's quite fortunate for him that at least I assume that's what happened, and there was nothing untoward going on there. I'm sure there wasn't. Oh shit! Episode turned. I'll see you guys next.